happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics. And today, we got a Barbra Streisand album reaction to The Way We Were, brought to us by a friend, longtime supporter, and I think I can speak for him, Streisand super fan, Scott. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons who make this thing go. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out that Patreon link below or the patron link on the end screen. We could not do it without the patrons. Super appreciate their support. All right, I've done some Streisand song reactions, some song battles. But this is the first time I've dove into an album, and I haven't listened to one on my own yet. Go check out those battles and reactions. Just type Barbra Streisand above after this video, of course, and they're all in a playlist that you'll find. I was stunned. I knew who she was, obviously. I mean, I was born in 1971, so I knew who she was, but you know, most of her music was not popular when I was growing up. I knew a couple of her songs, and I do know one of the songs on here, the title track, but I don't know any of it real well. I don't think I know any other songs on this album, but I've done this channel for 6.5 years now, roughly, about 3,300 videos. I was really stunned. That's an understatement. I'm really rarely ever stunned. If you listen to this much music in this way, in a critical way, it takes a lot to really, really impress you. Her voice is goated, man. Best female voice I've ever heard. Maybe it's best voice I've ever heard. But yeah, she's fantastic. So let's jump into this album a little bit, a few quick facts, and then we'll get to the album itself. 15th studio album released in January of 1974, preceded by the commercial success of its lead single, The Way We Were, first released in September of 73. It's about 5 months before. This album went to 7 in Australia, 3 in Canada, 49 in the UK, number 1 in the US. 3 additional new songs were recorded for the album, while 6 of the tracks were salvaged from unreleased material from previous Streisand projects. I'll get to more of that in a minute. Album covers a wide array of themes. She sings about recovering relationships, social awareness, and love in general. A contemporary pop album blended with her signature vocal style. Her production team included, because it was recorded in different ways, right? New songs pulled from other places from the past. Tommy LaPuma and Wally Gold, while Marty Page contributed to the title track. More on that in a little while. I got some good stories on that. The album received generally favorable reviews from critics who praised Streisand's vocals, because they're smart, right? And found the record capable of being extremely successful. Commercially, as I talked about, it reached number 1 in the US. It also was certified 2 times platinum in the US. This was the golden age of album sales, right? Where you get to sell a lot of albums. The concept for the record first developed in late 73, following the success of the title track, which was specifically written for that film that Streisand stars in with Robert Redford. According to the liner notes of Barbra's 1991 Greatest Hits album, Just for the Record, The Way We Were, All in Love is Fair, Being at War with Each Other, and Something So Right were the only tracks specifically recorded and created for this album. The majority of the project's material consisted of demos and recordings from her recording sessions with Alan Bergman and Marilyn Bergman for an unreleased album titled The Singer. Both The Best Thing You've Ever Done and Summer Me, Winter Me were previously released together as a non-album single in April of 1970, so almost 4 years before, and were originally intended for inclusion on the official soundtrack to her 1970 film, The Owl and the Pussycat. Recording sessions for the album took place in various places, right, because it's over time, at United Western Recorders in LA between September 69 and December of 1973. While the mixing was performed at Hollywood Sound Studio during that same period. What Are You Doing the Rest of Your Life and My Buddy, How About Me, which is a medley at the end, were the first 2 songs recorded, while Being at War with Each Other, Something So Right, and All in Love is Fair were the final 3 to be completed. Just a little background on the album. Kind of an interesting album, obviously, the way it was put together, being basically a compilation built around a huge hit. Kind of smart. If you haven't been with us before, the music won't be in the video because it's going to get copywritten, but it will be and blocked. But it will be at the Vimeo link below. I'm putting this up here just to alert you. Don't click on that. It won't do anything. It's a Vimeo link below. Click on it. You'll get all the music. Let's jump into it. With the opening track, Being at War with Each Other, a cover of the Carole King song from her 1973 studio album, Fantasy. Although this is interesting, Carole wrote it specifically for Barbra. She just recorded it herself. I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Scott. All right, Being at War with Each Other. I know she didn't write it. I know Carole King wrote it for her, but the lyrics... This is 1974, I will remind you, boys and girls, are very relevant, unfortunately, in a lot of ways, right now in 2025, as I sit here, because, I live in the United States, so just a lot of things going on. Barbra's performance is fantastic. Her phrasing is always on point. It's something I haven't really talked about in previous videos, but I'm curious to do this album, and so far so good. Like the arrangement was great, but she held the notes when she needed to. But I talked about this in previous videos of hers. She has this great voice, but she doesn't try to go over the top. She doesn't feel this need to show it off all the time. And you guys know what I'm saying. There's certain singers, I'm not going to identify them, who have great voices, but they want to let you know on every song, a lot of times unnecessarily, how great their voice is. And they just go over the top. It's like great guitarists who have to do the 4-minute solo, and maybe you're into the 4-minute solos in the middle of the songs, more power to you. But they want you to know they're great guitarists. You take a guy like Mark Knopfler, who's from the band Dire Straits. He's one of the greatest guitarists of all time, but he doesn't do that, right? Because he doesn't need to. He does this little 30-second, 45-second guitar solo, and you're like, my goodness, man, that was absolutely pristine. That's what Barbra reminds me of. She doesn't have to go on these long runs. But I was also interested to know, because when people bring you song reactions or song battles from any artist, they're like bringing you the top stuff from them, or what they view as the top stuff. So usually those artists sound great, right? Because it's kind of being cherry picked. It's different when you listen to an album and you just got song after song that came from different places. So how does the vocalist sound then? I mean, I didn't doubt it, but she sounds great so far. And I know we're only one song in, but that's kind of what I'm looking for on this album. Next up, we have Something So Right. It's a song by Paul Simon, of course, written by Paul. It's from his third studio album, There Goes Rhymin' Simon, in 1973. It was not a single. It was released as a B-side of a number of singles for him. The song has been covered by numerous artists, of course, Barbra, but also most notably by Annie Lennox, whose 1995 duet with Simon placed at number 44 on the UK singles chart. Why do I tell you that? I tell you that because if you're watching from the UK, you might go, oh yeah, I recognize this song, but you're not going to recognize it from Barbra. Again, another nice performance. Well done. I think I like the first song a little bit better, but I mean, her vocal performance on here was pristine. I think I just like the content of the first song a little better, but these first two songs were 2 of the 4 songs recorded for this album. Next up, we've got The Best Thing You've Ever Done. Written by Martin Charnin. He's most famous for his lyrics to the musical Annie. He also wrote the lyrics for Harold Arlen for a while in the mid-60s. Charnin told writer James Kimbrell how The Best Thing came to be written. He said, quote, I was in New York and I ran into Herb Ross, who was directing The Owl and the Pussycat at the time. Charnin said, he asked me if I'd be interested in writing a song for Barbra to sing in the film when the characters separate. I told him I'd like to see the rough cut of the film first, but that I was interested. I wrote the song, sent it to Barbra's people, and that was it. Later, when the film was released, all the music was done by Blood, Sweat, and Tears, so I thought my song was just dropped. Barbra, though, liked the song and ended up on one of her albums 3 years later. So you write it for her, you go, it's not in the movie, you're disappointed. Boom, 3 years later, it shows up on an album. He had to be ecstatic. All right, she definitely brought it on this one. The Best Thing You've Ever Done. So it's a sarcastic song, right? It was written from the aspect of she's singing it to the ex. Like, yeah, doesn't everything seem so much better now? It wasn't leaving me the best thing you ever done. You have that clutter in your mind. So she builds the emotion of it through the vocals throughout the song till she builds it up to the climax, that last minute of just, building up to like, yeah, this is so great. Like the emotion you would feel when you get out of that relationship, and as it goes on, probably the despair you feel like maybe this wasn't the right thing to do, but fantastic vocal performance. All right, next up we have the title track. Look, I got a lot of info on this because the song had a lot of interesting story behind it. Its lyrics detail the melancholic relationship between the 2 main characters of the film, of course played by Barbra and Robert Redford. Its appeal was noted by several music critics who felt that impact helped revive Barbra's career. Now, you Streisand fans are going to let me know if that's really the case or not. The song also won 2 Academy Awards, which were credited to the songwriters of the track. It was a commercial success, topping the charts in both Canada and in the US. It's number 1, while peaking in the top 40 in Australia and in the UK. Additionally, it was 1974's most successful recording in the US. It placed number 1 on the year-end Billboard charts. Obviously, that's the highest honor you can have. It's been certified platinum since then, sales of over 1 million. Also won the Golden Globe for Best Original Song. In 2008, it was inducted to the Grammy Hall of Fame. Film composer Marvin Hamlish, one of only 2 people in history to win the full EGOT and the Pulitzer Prize, like EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. Co-wrote this with the married couple lyricists Alan and Marilyn Bergman. Streisand had wanted a minor key song, but Hamlish, after spending a ton of time on the song, ended up writing a major key number anyway, and that caused a little bit of issues. Streisand recorded the song live with a full string section and with members of the Wrecking Crew, the greatest backing musicians, session musicians in history. Hamlish wrote in his memoir, I put in weeks and weeks of struggle to find the right theme. He explained that, quote, on the surface, it was a pretty difficult assignment. I thought about the script and I was quite depressed because the perfect combination didn't come to me right away. I went to bed one night still depressed, but I woke up at 2 a.m. and I had the song. It was there. I wrote it down, and when I got up the next morning, I made some minor changes and had the finished product. He felt the song composed in a minor key would be the obvious sad choice for a tearjerker movie. By doing this, he said, I tried to give a sense, writing in the major, of hope to this tragic story. Ray Stark hired Marilyn and Alan Bergman to write the lyrics to his melody, to Hamlisch's melody. Our lyrics are designed to be an integral part of motion pictures, Alan said. They're created to set or heighten a mood or reveal something about the story's characters or move the plot from one point to the other. For the movie, Barbra sang this twice during the opening credits and flashback, and again over the end credits. Meanwhile, that's where it kind of takes a switch. Work began on a pop single of the version. Marty Page said, the song as performed by Barbra in the movie did not work for a pop record. The way we were in the movie was very laid back. It worked fine with the picture, with the visuals, but for radio, for the ears only, it kind of puts you to sleep. Now, he's saying that, not me, Streisand fans. So they called me in, and Marvin and I went over to see Barbra to her house on Carrollwood in Beverly Hills. They played the song for me and asked me if I'd do something with it to make it more commercial. So I took it home and worked on an arrangement. I rewrote it with a much hipper rhythm section, end quote. Carol Kay, who played the bass on many studio recordings, part of the Wrecking Crew, recalled the session. She said the huge orchestra finally assembled from our break, and we did 33 straight takes of The Way We Were, with Barbra singing every one. As I told you, I got 3,300 videos up. That's a lot of takes to do back to back. Like, that's insane. She said, with Marvin Hamlisch conducting and the songwriting team in the booth, take after take, we kept going. Each take as intensive as the last one. And so I look at Paul Humphrey, the drummer, like, when is this going to end? Marty Page continued, I know that when we recorded it, there was a tremendous sense of urgency about it. We had to do it right now. So Barbra stayed on to repair a few lines, and we worked straight through the night. I think it was 4 hours for the recording and 4 hours for the mixing, which goes to show if you have the right artist and the right orchestra, you can make a hit record in one night. It's the first song ever written for a motion picture, which immediately jumped out and became a hit, Alan Bergman said. End quote of all of that. It should also be noted the single version of the song contains a different vocal by Barbra than the album version. Streisand sings some of the lines a little differently on the single, and for some reasons over the years, the album version of The Way We Were is the one that's been memorialized on different greatest hits albums, not the single. So obviously we were listening to the album here. So I just wanted to put all of that there. I just thought this is a great story. It's a unique story. All right, let's get it. Okay, that's about the perfect pop song you could have in 1974. There's a reason why it was #1 for the year in. The arrangement is really well done. The production is absolutely fantastic. The songwriting's fine. I mean, it's not some greatly written song in my opinion. I mean, it's fine. It's good, but it's really all about her delivery and the way she brings it in with the and ends it that way. And she doesn't hit that last note. She could go crazy with that last The Way We Were, but she didn't. She low-keyed it out and let it fade out. And I just think that's just a fantastic way. She definitely takes you on this emotional journey, but it's her voice that absolutely makes this a classic. All right, we finish out the traditional side one with All in Love is Fair from Stevie Wonder. He recorded it for his great 16th studio album, Intervisions, which there's a full album review up on this channel. It's a fantastic one. Barbra's version was released as a single, 63 in the US, 60 in Canada. This was one of the 3 tracks, including The Way We Were. We're including that in there for the album. That was specifically recorded for this. So the first, second, and fifth tracks, they were all on side 1. On the Adult Contemporary chart, which was entitled the Easy Listening Chart, just FYI, it became Adult Contemporary, it peaked at number 10, so a little bit more success. All right, All in Love is Fair. What a fantastic vocal performance. Maybe the best vocal performance of the first 5 songs. I don't know. You've got to really bring it if you're going to cover a Stevie song. Stevie's one of the greatest artists in the history of music, and she definitely did. She made it her own, that cliche, but she really did. It's a fantastic performance. The song is really well written. I mean, it's just a bunch of cliches about the end of a relationship, but she did a great job on this. Her voice was the star. All right, next up we have What Are You Doing the Rest of Your Life? Lyrics written by Alan Bergman and Marilyn Bergman. Original music written by Michel Legrand from the 1969 film The Happy Ending, performed by Michael Dees. The song was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song. But here's how Barbra came about it. Alan Bergman recalled that Barbra came over for dinner, and we had just finished the song that day. It was on the piano, and she passed the piano and saw the title. Michelle was staying with us, and she said, I like the title. Can I hear it? So we sang it to her, and she said, let me hear it again. She said, let me sing it. We have on tape the first time she sang it, and it's all there, every nuance. What are you doing for the rest of your life? Like I said, it's written for a movie. It has that feel to it. It's not really for a pop record, but it's a fantastic performance, as always, by Barbra, but more of a traditional performance. But I liked it. Next up, we have Summer Me, Winter Me, written by Bergman and Legrand again. Another fantastic vocal performance. You know, it's like What Are You Doing the Rest of Your Life, the previous song. It's more theatrical. It's more stagey than the first side is, which is more pop oriented, which makes sense, right? Because I told you these were kind of put together. We already had all, quote, 4, if you're concluding the way we were the new songs for this album, 4 of the first 5. And then you're getting stuff that was, left over from maybe a movie and some different other things that are pulled in. So it makes sense. But her vocal performance and the arrangement is fantastic. Next up, we got Pieces of Dreams from the 1971 film of the same name, composed by these first 3 songs of the second side, Michelle Legrand. Lyrics were written by Alan and Marilyn Bergman. It's performed by Peggy Lee as the title track on the film. Nominated, that version was, for the Academy Award for Best Original Song. All right, just like the previous 2 songs, very showy. So I think I prefer, in a way, the songs on the first side, but her vocals are just like perfection on this song. So it's an interesting dichotomy from the first side. Not that they weren't great here, but here she just absolutely, obviously shines. So just a fantastic vocal performance. So much control. All right, we got 2 songs left. We got I've Never Been a Woman Before, written by Tom Baird and Ron Miller. It was the 11 o'clock number from the musical Cherry, based on William Inge's Bus Stop. Cherry finally opened on Broadway in 1972, but it only had 3 performances, so I don't know what the story is there. Barbra used to sing this in her Las Vegas act. All right, once again, the songwriting, it's fine. It's almost like a fragment of a song, really. It's not really a fully formed song so much. The last minute, like 1 minute of that performance of her vocals is just absolutely ridiculous, right? It's like you just flip a switch to full power and full control. It's insane, man. It's as good as I've heard her sound just in that last 1 minute of that song. It's insanity. All right, and finally, we will finish this off with a little medley. My Buddy, How About Me? My Buddy, written by Walter Donaldson and lyrics by Gus Kahn. The song was published in 1922. Versions by Gene Autry, Chet Baker, have one of his albums up, Count Basie, Bing Crosby, Ray Charles. The second half, How About Me, written by Irving Berlin in 1928. So both these songs are from the 1920s. Song is an expression of sorrow over a love affair that's over. First recording was popular in 1928, subsequently recorded by many artists, including Judy Garland and Ella Fitzgerald. Barbra first sang this medley on her 1967 television special, The Belle of 14th Street. A soundtrack was never released from that by Columbia Records, so she re-recorded this fresh in 1969 with arrangement by Peter Mott, so maybe she just wanted to get that out here. Let's finish this album out. All right, My Buddy, How About Me? Interesting to put this together as a medley. Good job. Like a minute and a half left, she started to turn up those vocals again. Not like it was on I've Never Been a Woman Before, but she was building out. Otherwise, it's a smooth performance. Something you would think that you would just go watch her play almost in a piano bar, right? Just a smooth, nice performance. Good way to end out the album. Now we're going to go to my favorite tracks. Honorable mention, Being at War with Each Other, the first track. Faves are going to be All in Love is Fair from Stevie Wonder. I've Never Been a Woman Before, just because of the last 1 minute of vocals. Like, it's just absolutely insanity. And of course, The Way We Were. Maybe a familiarity bias there, but that song is great. Now we'll go to my overall score of the album. The album is interesting, right? Because it wasn't recorded as a cohesive theme or piece of music. It's piecemealed in from everywhere. And I think you feel it in it because I think the first side is more pop and the second side is more traditional, showy, stagey. Not in a bad way. I think her vocals are more showcased on the second side. The songs are better on the first side. Her vocals are pristine everywhere. It's very well produced. All the songs are. But, it's a piecemeal album. I still thought it was really good. I'll give it a 7.5. It would be higher, I think, if it wasn't almost like 2 separate albums. But it's still really good. Let me know what you guys think of this album. What's her best album? What else should I check out? Maybe I'll do an album reaction to another one at some point. Super appreciate Scott bringing this. He brought it because I'm putting it up. If you're watching when it came out, you know this, but it's April of 2025. Barbra's 83rd birthday is April 24th. So happy early birthday to Barbra. I can't believe she's 83 years old. Everybody is just, how does this happen, right? I'm 53. How did this happen? But happy birthday to her. Thanks again to Scott for bringing this one. And until next time, guys, I will see ya.